Hey guys, I hope you're having a good week. We are working in our instruction book today. We are in lesson 13. We're talking about equal or equivalent fractions, and I'm on page 156. Okay, so our first, one of our questions here says, the model shows 1/4. How many equal parts make up the whole? So here's one whole. How many parts of it is it? There are 4 parts. 4 parts. And one of those is shaded in. Okay? It says then use a ruler to draw 2 more lines to make 8 equal parts. So what you would do is draw a line carefully to make 8 equal parts. So if I wanted to find an equal fraction to 1/4 that has a denominator of 8, we know to go from 4 to 8 we multiply by 2. So whatever you do to the bottom, you do to the top. So an equal fraction to 1/4 would be 2/8, which is exactly what we drew. Number 3. Compare the 4 equal parts to the 8 equal parts. How many times as many parts are there now? Well, we just did this. How many times as many parts is there now? There's 2 times as many parts. Remember, guys, if I'm going too fast in the video, you can pause it and write down what you need to and rewind to catch up, okay? Now, how many parts are shaded? We figured out that 2 parts are shaded because we split that into 2. So 2 parts are shaded. Okay, why are there 2 times as many parts shaded as when they were 1/4 model? That's because when we were looking for the equal fraction to get from 4 to 8, we had to multiply by 2. So we're just going to say that there are 2 times as many. Okay. If 3 of the original 4 parts were shaded, how many of the 8 parts would be shaded? So what's 3? If we're multiplying by 2, right? So 1/4 equals 2/8. But let's say we wanted to put the 3. What's 3 times 2? We would have 6. Okay? We would have 6. If all 8 parts were shaded, how many of the 4 original parts would there be? There would be 4. Okay? 6. Draw a model to show 2/3 and then divide it into a different number of parts to show an equal fraction. So let's draw a circle, right? And we are going to draw this into 3 equal parts. So 1, 2, 3. Try your best, right? That doesn't really look equal, but it's our best. So this is 2/3. And so I would shade in this part and we'll shade in this part, right? That could be 2/3. But now it wants us to make this an equal fraction. So I'm going to multiply by 2 to get 6 and multiply that by 2 to get 4. So 4/6. So I would split this in half and then split that in half. Okay, so then 4 of the 6 pieces are shaded in. This kind of brings us back to 2nd grade when we're talking about our hundreds blocks. This model shows that 30 of the 100 squares are shaded in, right? We have 10 down and 10 across. There's 100 total here. And if we look, 30, 10, 20, 30 of the 100 are shaded in. If the model had 10 equal parts, how many would be shaded? So if these weren't split, if these were whole 10 cubes, if we were just going to draw it like tens, we have 1, 2, there's 3 tens, so 3. Okay. I'm moving on to page 157. It says write the equal fraction for problems 2 and 3. So that goes back to our other page where we had 1/4 and 2/8. Okay. Multiply both the numerator and denominator of 1/4 by the same number to get 2/8. What number did you use? Why does this make sense? So let's go back over here. Number 2. See? What number did we use? What number did we multiply? We multiplied by 2. And why did that make sense? It made sense because the question said twice as many equal parts. So for number 8, we're going to say we used the number 2. We multiplied by 2. And we did this because there are twice as many equal parts. Twice as many equal parts. Twice as many. Remember, so reverse operation. What happens if you divide both the numerator and the denominator 2/8 by 2? So let's write it. 2/8 equals a fraction that we're going to divide by 2. Divide by 2. What do we get? What's 8 divided by 2? 4. And then 2 divided by 2 is 1. So if we divide this fraction by 2, we get 1/4. Number 9. To find an equivalent fraction to 6/8, Beth divided by 2 to get 4 as the denominator. So let's do what Beth did. So we have 6/8, and she's going to divide by 2 to get 4 as the denominator. What does Beth do to find the numerator? Whatever you do to the top, you got to do to the bottom. So if we divided down here at the denominator, you got to divide up here at the numerator. So 6 divided by 2 gives you 3. Okay? So what's the equivalent fraction? The equivalent fraction is 3/4. Okay? Number 10, fill in the missing numbers to find an equivalent fraction to 5/6. So here's our fraction, 5/6, and we're multiplying by 2. So we got 10 over here. So 6 times 2 gives us 12. So an equivalent fraction of 5/6 is going to give us 10/12. Okay. Number 11. Shade the model to show 2/5, then show 10 equal parts and write the equivalent fraction. So this is our fraction that we're starting with, 2/5, right? So there are 5 whole parts and 2 of the parts are shaded in. So there's 2/5. It says 10 equal parts. So here needs to go 10. How do we get from 5 to 10? Yep, we multiply by 2. So we have to multiply our numerator by 2 to get 4. So an equivalent fraction of 2/5 is going to be 4/10. Number 12. Shade the model to show 1/4. So 1/4, that's what we're working with. We have 4 whole parts and 1 piece is shaded in. And it says to show 12 equal parts. So 12 goes here. How do we go from 4 to 12? We multiply by 3. So whatever we do to the bottom, we do to the top. 1 times 3 is 3. So our equivalent fraction of 1/4 is equal to 3/12. Okay? That wraps up our equal fraction lesson for today. Thank you guys for working so hard.